Part 27, Sorrow at Parting. Beowulf spake, Erothgo's offering. We, the men of the water, wish to declare now, fared from far lands, we're firmly determined to seek Eglock. Here we have fitly been welcomed and feasted, as heart would desire it. Good was the greeting. If greater affection I am anywise able ever on earth to gain at thy hands, ruler of heroes, then yet I have done. I shall quickly be ready for combat and conflict. O'er the course of the waters, learn I that neighbors alarm thee with terror, as haters did Wilhelm. I hither will bring thee for help unto heroes, henchmen by thousands. I know as to Eglock, the lord of the Geatmen, though young in years, he yet will permit me, by words and by works, ward of the people, fully to furnish thee forces, and bear thee my lance to relieve thee, if liegemen shall fail thee, and help of my hand strength. If Herethric be treating, bairn of the king, at the court of the Geatmen, he thereat may find him friends in abundance. Faraway countries he were better to seek for who trusts in himself. Hrothgar discoursed then, making rejoinder. These words thou hast uttered, all-knowing God hath given thy spirit. Ne'er heard I an earlman thus early in life, more clever in speaking. Thou thou'rt cautious of spirit, mighty of muscle, in mouth answers prudent. I count on the hope that, happen it ever, that missile shall rob thee of Hrethel's descent. Edge-horrid battle, and illness or weapon, deprive thee of prince, of people's protector, and life thou yet holdest. The Sea-Geats will never find a more fitting folklore to choose them, gem of the ward of heroes, than thou mightest prove thee, if the kingdom of the kinsmen thou carest to govern. Thy mood spirit likes me the longer the better. Beowulf, dear, thou hast brought it to pass that to both of these peoples peace shall be common. To Geatfolk and Danemen the strife be suspended, the secret assailings they suffered in your days. And also that jewels be shared while I govern the wide-stretching kingdom, and that many shall visit, others o'er the ocean with excellent gift gems. The ring-adorned bark shall bring o'er the currents presents and love gifts. This people I know, toward foeman and friend firmly established, after ancient etiquette everywise blameless. Then the warden of the earlmen gave him still farther, kinsman of Healfdene, a dozen of jewels, bade him safely seek with the presents his well-beloved people, early returning. Then the noble-born kissed the distinguished, dear-loved liegeman. The Dane prince saluted him, and clasped his neck. Tears fell, from the gray-headed man. He two things expected, aged and reverend, but rather the second, that bold in council they'd meet thereafter. The man was so dear that he failed to suppress the emotions that moved him, but in mood fetters fastened, the long famous hero longeth in secret, deep in his spirit for the dear beloved man, though not a blood kinsman. Beowulf thenceward, gold-splendid warrior, walked o'er the meadows, exulting in treasure, the sea-going vessel riding at anchor awaiting its owner. As they pressed on their way then, the present of Hrothgar was frequently referred to, a folk king indeed, that every way blameless, till age did debar him the joys of his might, which many oft injured. Part 28, The Homeward Journey, the Two Queens. Then the band of very valiant retainers came to the current. They were clad in all armor, in link-woven burnies. The land warder noticed the return of the earlmen, and as he erstwhile had seen them. No wise with insult he greeted the strangers from the naze of the cliff, but rode on to meet them. Said the bright armored visitors, vesselward traveled, welcome to Weders. The wide-bosomed craft then lay on the sand, laden with armor, with horses and jewels, the ring-stemmed sailor, the mast-up toad o'er the treasure of Hrothgar. To the boat-ward a gold-bound brand he presented, that he was afterwards honored on the ale-bench more highly as the heirloom of his owner. So he got that big old heirloom sword. Set he out on his vessel, to drive the deep Dane country left he. Along by the mast then a sea garment fluttered, a rope-fastened sail. The sea-boat resounded, the wind o'er the waters, the wave-floater nowise kept from its journey. The seagoer travelled, the foamy neck floated forth o'er the currents, the well-fashioned vessel o'er the waves of the ocean, till they came within sight of the cliffs of the Geatmen, the well-known headlands. The wave-goer hastened, driven by breezes, stood on the shore. Prompt at the ocean, the port ward was ready, who, long in the past, outlooked the distance. At water's edge waiting, well-loved heroes. He bound to the bank, then the broad-bosomed vessel fastened his fetters, lest the force of the waters should be able to injure the ocean-wood winsome. Bade he then take up the treasure of princes, plate gold and fretwork. Not far was it thence to go off in search of the giver of jewels. Hrethel's son Eglock at home there remaineth, himself with his comrades close to the sea coast. The building was splendid, the king heroic, great in his hall. Hyad very young was, fine-mooded, clever, though few were the winters. Then that the daughter of Hath, Hareth, had dwelt the borough, but she no wise was cringing nor lost of presents, of ornaments rare to the race of the Geatmen. Thyro nursed anger, excellent folk queen, hot burning hatred, no hero whatever, 'mong household companions, her husband excepted, dared to adventure to look at the woman with eyes in the daytime, but he knew that death chains had hand-wreathed were wrought him. Early thereafter, when the hand stripe was over, edges were ready. That fierce raging sword point had to force a decision, murder bale show, such no womanly custom for a lady to practice, though lovely her person. That a weaver of peace, on pretense of anger, a beloved liegeman of life should deprive. Soothly, this hindered Hemming's kinsman. Other ale-drinking earlmen asserted that fearful folk sorrows fewer she wrought them, treacherous doing, since first she was given, adorned with gold to the war hero youthful, for her origin honored, when Ulfa's great palace o'er the follow flood by her father's instructions, she sought on her journey, where she afterwards fully, famed for her virtue, her fate on the king's seat enjoyed in her lifetime. Love did she hold with the ruler of heroes, the best, it is told me, of all the earthmen that the oceans encompass, of earl kindred's endlands. Hence Ulfa was famous far and widely, by gifts and by battles, spear-valiant hero, the homes of his father. He governed with wisdom, whence Eamar did issue for help unto heroes, Hemming's kinsman, grandson of Geirmund, great in encounters. And now we are on, I put up the right one. Sorry, yes. Okay. Sorry about that. We are now on part 29, Beowulf and Eglock. Then the brave one departed, his band along with him, seeking the seashore, the sea marches treading, the wide-stretching shores, the world candle glimmered, the sun from southward. They proceeded then onward, early arriving when they heard that the troop lord, on Glentho's slayer, excellent, youthful folk prince and warrior, was distributing jewels close in his castle. The coming of Beowulf was announced in a message quickly to Eglock, that the folk troops defender forth to the palace. The linden companion alive was advancing, secure from the combat courtyard a-going. The building was early inward made ready, for the foot-going guests as the good one had ordered. He sat by the man then who had lived through the struggle, kinsman by kinsman, when the king of the people had in lordly language saluted the dear one, in words that were formal. The daughter of Hareth cursed through the building, carrying mead cups. She loved the retainers, tendered the beakers, to the high-minded Geatman. Eglock's gain then pleasantly plying his companion with questions in the high towering palace. A curious interest tormented his spirit, what meaning to see in the sea Geat's adventures. Beowulf, worthy, how throve your journeying, when thou thoughtest suddenly far o'er the salt streams to seek an encounter? A battle at Heorot, hast better for Hrothgar, the famous folk leader, his far-published sorrows, any at all? In agony billows, I mused at torture, distrusted the journey of the beloved liegeman. I long time did pray thee, by no means to seek out the murderous spirit, to suffer the South Danes themselves to decide on, grappling with Grendel. To God I am thankful to be suffered to see thee safe from thy journey. Beowulf answered, Baron of old Yggdrasil, 'tis hidden by no means, Eglock chieftain, from many men, the meeting so famous, what mournful moments of me and of Grendel were passed in the palace where he pressing affliction on the victory's scalding scathefully brought, anguish forever that I avenged, so that any under heaven of the kinsmen of Grendel needeth not boast of that cry in the morning, who longest liveth of the loth-going kindred. Encompassed by moorland, I came in my journey to the royal hall ring, Hrothgar to greet there. Soon did the famous scion of Healfdene, when he understood fully the spirit that led me, assign me a seat with the son of his bosom. The troop was in joyance, mead glee greater, neath the arch of the either ever behold I mid-hall building holders. The highly famed queen, peace ties of peoples, oft passed through the building. Cheered by the young troopers, she oft tendered a hero a beautiful ringband, ere she went to her sitting oft the daughter of Hrothgar in view of the car-cheers. To the earls at the end the ale-vessel carried, whom free-aware I heard then hall-sitter's title. When nail-adorned jewels she gave to the heroes, gold-bedeckled, youthful, to the glad son of Froda. Her faith has been plighted, the friend of the Scaldings, the guard of the kingdom hath given his sanction, and counts it a vantage, for a part of the quarrels, a portion of hatred, to pay with the woman. Somewhere, not rarely, when the ruler has fallen, the life-taking lance relaxeth its fury, for a brief breathing spell, though the bride be charming.